Hello, my name is Dr. Jason Branch from MHub. Thank you for joining me today. Today, we're going to talk about cake and icing. Cake and icing related to relationships. So hopefully you looked at the other videos of the 3 keys to a healthy relationship, the 5 to 6 categories that someone can fit in a relationship, and now we're looking at cake and icing. So if you've established the groundwork as far as those 3 keys and putting people in categories, as I mentioned in the previous video about the categories with a whatever, sometimes we invest in whatevers and we get back whatever. Today, I want to challenge you to invest differently. And I want you to look at this investment when it comes to relationships as in building a cake. When you think about relationships, the same process to make a cake is the same process when it comes to a relationship. So let's break it down. Let's say, for instance, we're going to make a cake. Any cake, whatever cake we're going to make. You have an idea of what kind of cake that you're interested in, that's fine. So just roll with me, right? So if we're going to bake a cake, the first thing we need is ingredients: milk, butter, eggs, water, you name it. We need all of these ingredients. But just because we have these ingredients, that doesn't mean we're done making the cake. We have steps to take. And oftentimes when it comes to taking steps in cake, if you think about how we're going to make this cake, you're going to skip some steps. It happens. It's normal. It's natural. Skipping steps such as in the pan, making sure I'm oiling the pan, putting a little flour in the pan, getting the pan ready for the cake. Even with the batter that I'm making, did I get a hand mixer? Do I have a bowl, or am I managing it in my hand? So I have to follow every single step in order to make sure this cake works. Now, we don't know the end result. No one ever knows the end result of the cake. We have an idea of what the cake is going to be once we finish, but we never know. So our job is just to do the best we can with what we have to make the cake. So we're getting all the ingredients together. We put the bowl together. We mix everything up. We get the pan. We preheat the oven first. Preheat the oven before you put the pan in. Oven's preheated. You put it in, and once you put you put the pan of the cake in the oven, set the timer. What happens during the time the cake is being made? You're probably sitting down. You're probably relaxing. You may be cleaning up. You're doing other things and allowing the cake to just rise. You're allowing the cake to bake. Then, after the timer goes off, cake is ready. You take the cake out. You take it out the pan. The cake has to cool first before you put icing on. So anybody who's making a cake, 2-layer cake, whatever the flavor it is, the cake has to cool before you put the icing on. So what does this have to do with relationship? I got you. What it has to do with relationship is building the cake is building a relationship. The cake itself is relationship. The icing is sex. Yes, indeed. So imagine how often many people are trying to make a cake, but doing it backwards. They're building it off of icing. How many cakes do you know that's made with icing first? Doesn't exist. Therefore, we have to make the cake, and then the icing goes on top of a cooled cake. So the same rules apply when it comes to relationship. I want to build, maintain, establish a healthy relationship before I introduce sex. Sometimes we have a hard time doing that because of the emotional pull, the emotional pull that we may have. So I challenge you, how can I establish and practice healthy relationships before I get involved with intimacy, with sex? Now, many of you, you're adults, or you may be young adults. Sex is a part of our culture, our makeup. If you're a human being, you are aware, you're familiar with sex. So therefore, think about how can I be more intentional when it comes to building a relationship first before I introduce sex into the picture. So if you think about healthy relationships, go back to that cake. The cake, the materials that we mentioned before, the flour, the butter, the milk, that's us asking questions. I'm learning about my partner. I'm learning about this person. I'm getting all the information, figuring out, are they interested in making the same cake that I'm making? Some people are making a strawberry cake while others are making brownies. It doesn't work. So by communicating, doing those 3 keys, I can find out if this person making a great cake that's the same as me, or are they making something completely different? And a lot of people talk really good about how great their cake is, but some people are making cake while others are making cornbread. You need to find out what works for you because it's your cake, so you can do things your way. So I challenge you, cake and icing. Work on the cake first. The icing can come later. You cannot build your relationship on icing alone. Again, my name is Dr. Jason Branch. Thank you for joining me talking about those 3 keys, the 5 to 6 categories, and cake and icing, all to help you have a better relationship. See you soon.